Akim Olufemi Gbajabiamila. God bless you all.
Welcome to another episode of House Tickets, your window into activities of the House of Representatives, Federal Republic of Nigeria. I am Dihelia Mamza, your anchor. It's good to be with you again. The House in the recent past has focused on bills consideration, passing those that are important to the economy, electoral system, and general development of the country. On this episode of the program, therefore, we shall be reviewing bills in their various stages of consideration in the last few months. Rounding off our review, House Ticket had a chat with the Chief Whip of the House of Representatives, Representative Tahir Monguno, as he gives an assessment of the performance of the House so far, even as he speaks on matters arising in the nation. All this after this short timeout.
If we set our minds right, embrace each other in love and brotherhood, we will come through these troubling times. We will survive, we will recover, and then we will thrive. One nation under God, free, peaceful, and prosperous.
Bills are either from the executive or sponsored by members. They could introduce new legislations, propose amendments to existing laws, or seek a repeal of an old law and reenacting a new one. In all of this, the bill passes through first, second, and third reading before passage. In the last 3 months, the House has received new or amendment bills with consideration in various stages. Let's take a review of bills before the House in this first segment of the program. Keep watching.
Nigerian Institute of Transport Technology Act, Repeal and Enactment Bill 2022, first reading.
In the period under review, the House passed for first reading several bills for amendment or repeal and enactment. Such bills passed include Chartered Institute of Securities and Investment in Nigeria, Repeal and Reenactment Bill 2022, National Drug Law Enforcement Agency Act Amendment Bill 2022, National Youth Service Corps Act Amendment Bill 2022, and Nigerian Oil and Gas Industry Content Development Act Amendment Bill 2022. Also, several bills relating to amendment or repeal and enactment scaled second reading during the period under review. The bills include a bill for an act to amend the Criminal Code Act Cap C 38, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, and for related matters.
The section currently provides for 1 year imprisonment for attempted suicide. Of course, those that fail. My bill is to amend that section in such a way that those who attempt suicide, rather than being punished, are rather taken for counseling, psychosocial counseling, and rehabilitation.
Bill was voted on, approved for second reading, and referred to the House Committee on Justice for considerations.
Say aye. Those against this say nay. Ayes have it.
Another bill passed for second reading by the lawmakers was a bill for an act to amend the Financial Reporting Council of Nigeria Act 2011 and for related matters.
That a bill for an act to amend the Agricultural Research Council of Nigeria Act.
Also passed at second reading was a bill for an act to amend the Agricultural Research Council of Nigeria Act Cap A12, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, to make provision for the establishment of the Federal College of Agriculture, Kirikasama, Jigawa State, and for related matters. The bill was referred to the House Committee on Agricultural Colleges and Institutions after it scaled second reading. Still on bills for second reading, the House considered a bill for an act to amend the Bank's Employees, etc. Declaration of Assets Act Cap B1, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, and for related matters.
First is to ensure that the banks have up-to-date data that is updated yearly on their staff, so that when there are infractions, it's easy to trace the staff who is involved. Well, in a day when bank fraud has increased with the Yahoo business that the young people are doing. But more importantly, it is to increase the punishment for bank staff who are involved in fraudulent activities in customers' accounts.
Bank transactions between banks officials and customers is based on trust. And everybody is aware of how some bank officials take that position of trust for granted. In different circumstances, bank officials suffocate and frustrate their customers for no reason, because there is no legal framework that bring those officials to order.
Directors of banks should be, for this purpose, interpreted to be an employee of the bank. We've seen directors assessing loans without collateral. At the end, they said it's a bad loan. And if you apply this law strictly, it's not an employee of the bank. So bank owners, anybody who is related to the bank, should be deemed to be an employee of the bank.
The bill was voted on, approved for second reading, and referred to the House Committee on Banking and Currency. Also passed for second reading in the period under review is a bill for an act to amend the National Health Act 2004 and for related matters.
The objective of this bill is to amend the Principal Act so as to make provision for sanctions against any public officer who violates the provision of the Act, especially Section 46 of the Act, which provides that without prejudice to the right of any Nigerian to seek medical checkup, investigation, or treatment anywhere within and outside Nigeria, no public officer of the government of the Federation or any part thereof shall be sponsored for medical checkup, investigation, or treatment abroad at public expense, except in exceptional cases on the recommendation and referral by the medical board, and which recommendation and referral shall be duly approved by the Minister or Commissioner of Health of the state as the case may be.
Any public officer should not incur bills from the Nigerian Post on health basis overseas, and a breach of it is sanctionable, is punishable. And he has looked at the bill. There is no particular recommendation to what punishment you give.
The essence of the parliament is to deliberately every time look at the shortcomings in our law and fill it. Mr. Speaker, my dear colleagues, I appeal to us, please, to look at this bill on its merit. It's an amendment to make sure there's no lacuna.
The bill was referred to the Committee on Health Institutions for further legislative considerations. In addition to this, the House passed for second reading a bill for an act to amend the Northeast Development Commission Act 2017 to make provisions for enhanced efficiency in the operations of the Northeast Development Commission and deepen the impact of the Commission on the lives of residents, member states through strategic capital development projects, and enhance the critical sources of revenues due to the Commission and for related matters.
Basically, this bill seeks to achieve the following. 1. To empower the Commission to adopt innovative financing mechanisms by saving 15% of its annual total revenue as general reserve fund, with the view to financially sustain the operations of the Commission beyond the 10 years period that part of the critical sources of revenue due to the Commission will last.
The Northeast is ravaged completely. The Northeast is destroyed completely, structurally. So I really want to call for the support of the honorable members to support this bill for sustainability of this commission and for the rehabilitation and resettlement that is going on in the Northeast.
The bill was voted on and referred to the Committee on the Northeast Development Commission. Several bills were also passed for third reading within the period under review. One of such is a bill for an act to repeal the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency Act, Cap N69, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, and enact the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency Bill to provide for definition and component of primary healthcare in Nigeria and for related matters. The President made observations which should be corrected before he will assent to it. In line with this, the House reconsidered the bill through a motion titled Committal of the Bill for an Act to Amend the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency.
In the course of cleaning the bill, the Director of Legal Services of the National Assembly revoked some provisions of the bill in order to address the intendment of the amendment.
Still in the period under review, the House amended and passed the Appropriation Act 2021, seeking to extend the capital component from 31st of March 2022 to 31st of May 2022. This was contained in a bill titled A Bill for an Act to Amend the Appropriation Act 2021 in order to extend the implementation year of the capital component of the Appropriation Act 2021 from 31st March to 31st May 2022 and for related matters.
I want to believe that this is a straightforward bill, which of course traditionally is intended to allow for completion and accomplishment of some of our capital projects as projected in the outgoing year. Mr. Speaker, it's a tradition because we have always had this kind of consideration to allow the government to be able to run a full package of its capital component in the budget. And for those reasons, Mr. Speaker, our sister chamber, the Senate, has done the same. And I want to understand that our colleagues can understand, in the spirit of that bicameral existence of this institution, that this bill should go with the speed of the light.
This bill is very, very self-explanatory. The bill deals with the tenor of the 2021 Appropriation Act, and given that most of the components of what made up the 2021 budget are yet to be fully implemented, and most of the projects are ongoing. In effect, it means that if you stop it, it will have a very bad effect on those projects that are ongoing. Hence, this idea of bringing it up for the parliament that has the only sole right to alter the budget, the appropriation, has been brought before us to do that. So the essence of this is to do justice to this bill.
The program is House Ticket, and we have been reviewing bills considered in the House in the last 3 months. So far, we've given a rundown of new, repealed, and amended bills taken at first, second, and third reading, some of which include the Northeast Development Commission and the National Health Act Amendment Bills, the Criminal Code Act Amendment Bill, as well as the amendment approved on the 2021 budget to extend the implementation of the capital components of the 2021 budgets. We will now move on to refresh your mind on the consideration of reports on bills as presented by various committees. Do keep watching.
In the period under review, the Committee of the Whole House considered more bills when it received the reports from the committees that worked on them. Chairman of the Committee on Aviation, Representative Nnoli Nnaji, presented a report on a bill for an act to repeal the Federal Airports Authority of Nigeria Act, Cap F5, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, and enact the Federal Airports Authority of Nigeria Bill to provide for the effective management of airports in Nigeria, and for related matters HB 461, and approve the recommendations therein. Clauses 1 to 44 of the bill were voted on and approved. Another report considered was on a bill for an act to repeal the Nigerian Airspace Management Agency Act, Cap N90, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, and enact the Nigerian Airspace Management Agency Bill to provide efficient air navigation services in Nigeria, ensure safety and regulation of air navigation in Nigeria, and to any other place which Nigeria has responsibility of providing air navigation services, and for related matters HB 462, and approved the recommendations therein. The House approved the 57 clauses obtained in the report.
24. Carried it.
I move for the consideration of a bill for an act to repeal the National Health Insurance Scheme Act.
Similarly, in another sitting of the Committee of the Whole, the House considered reports on the following bills. A bill for an act to repeal the National Health Insurance Scheme Act, Cap N42, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria, 2004, and enact the National Health Insurance Authority Bill, and for related matters. A bill for an act to amend the Psychiatric Hospitals Management Board Act, Cap P34, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria, 2004, to establish Federal Psychiatric Hospital, Budo Egba, Kwara State, provide legal framework for establishment of psychiatric hospital to facilitate the training of specialist personnel at all levels, and for related matters. Just recently, when the House cut short its break and reconvened for an emergency plenary, lawmakers passed 5 bills. Among them are 2 seeking repeal and reenactment as well as amendment. They include a bill for an act to repeal the Money Laundering Prohibition Act 2011 as amended, and enact the Money Laundering Prevention and Prohibition Bill 2022 to provide comprehensive legal and institutional framework for the prevention and prohibition of money laundering in Nigeria, establish the Special Control Unit under the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, and for related matters.
It's one of the instruments that enhances terrorism and illicit financial flows across jurisdictions. And in order to bring the Anti-Money Laundering Act in tandem with international best practice and what is obtainable in other jurisdictions, there is a need for us to have a special control unit in the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission that will be charged with the responsibility of money laundering issues.
The other one was a bill for an act to repeal the Public Complaints Commission Act, Cap P37, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria, 2004, and enact the Public Complaints Commission Bill 2022 for establishment of the Public Complaints Commission, with wide powers to inquire into complaints by members of the public concerning administrative actions of any public authority and companies or their officials, and provide legal framework for making public interest and for related matters. Few days ago, the House called for an emergency plenary and amended the 2022 Electoral Act. During the session, the House considered and amended Clause 84, Subsection 8 of the 2022 Electoral Act.
Mr. Speaker, honorable members, we are here converged on the Green Chamber of the House of Representatives to address a simple issue that involves our electoral process. Mr. Speaker, it is a matter that we consider very fundamental. My respected colleagues, it's a matter that is very critical, that in our journey to nationhood and through our legal democratic processes, we feel it is worthy that this House do convene this afternoon to consider this important amendment.
The amended Electoral Act now allows the President, governors, local government chairmen, as well as councillors are also delegates at party primaries.
Thanks for staying tuned to House Tickets and to our review of bills passed at first, second and third reading. The passage of these bills and many more are among the key achievements recorded by the 9th Assembly. We spoke to Representative Tahir Monguno, who is the current Chief Whip of the House of Representatives. He gives an insight on the legislative agenda of the 9th Assembly.
The key legislative agenda of the National Assembly is to impact the lives of Nigerians positively by way of making legislations that goes to the root of improving on their standard of living. And the various legislations that were made with a view to achieving that objective are diverse in nature and cut across key sectors of our socio-economic and political life in the country. And it was against this backdrop and in tandem with the legislative agenda of the 9th House of Representatives that various landmark bills were passed by the House of Representatives and indeed the National Assembly, for which the President has assented to.
Representative Monguno identified the passage of the Petroleum Industry Bill as one of the landmark achievements of the 9th Assembly.
That bill has been passed. It has eluded various assemblies, but this, because of the zeal, determination and commitment displayed by the present National Assembly, that bill has seen the light of the day, and the Assembly deserves a pat on the back for that.
The lawmakers said the petroleum laws are crafted to cater for the short and long-term needs of Nigeria.
The petroleum industry law has adequately captured that aspect of transition from fossil fuels to renewables, because in 30-50 years time, fossil fuels will be a thing of the past, because the world is fast moving towards renewables. The petroleum industry law has adequately captured that, and then it has also captured in the medium term how we are going to maximize the utilization of these God-given resources within this window of 30 to 50 years that we have, so that we can exploit it maximally for the purpose of deploying resources that accrues from it to a much needed infrastructural development, and then diversify our economy from an oil-based economy to an industrial and agricultural based economy. And then in the short term, we have also overhauled the Nigerian National Petroleum NNPC to make it a limited liability company, so that its operation can be purely commercially driven.
Financial inclusion and expansion of the Nigerian revenue base are the key objectives of the Financial Act passed by the 9th Assembly.
And then the Finance Act, which also seeks to overhaul the tax system in the country with a view to making it much more all-embracing and capture a lot of Nigerians, bring them into the tax net, so that our revenue will increase with a view to funding our much needed infrastructural development aspirations.
Representative Tahir Monguno further shed light on the Terrorism and Money Laundering Act recently assented to by President Muhammadu Buhari.
Terrorism and money laundering has now become a global phenomenon, and as such we cannot afford to isolate outside of what is happening in the global arena, and as such there is a need for us to adjust our laws concerning terrorism, money laundering, and what are you to bring them in tandem with international best practice, and for which, if we have not done, Nigeria will be delisted.
The Chief Whip of the 9th House said much has been done in the area of addressing security challenges across the country, particularly by passing bills that will provide the needed funds and equipment for security agencies. He further talked on the Electoral Act Amendment saga, saying the decision to go to court is the beauty of democracy.
The fact that some people have gone to court to challenge a provision of the Electoral Act as passed by the National Assembly is good and healthy in a democratic setup, because that is only the way democracy can grow, and that is the only way the laws that are passed by the National Assembly will be put to test to see whether they are in tandem or in consonance with the laws, the constitution, which is the grand norm of the land, or it is against public interest.
The Chief Whip in his interview called on Nigerians to continue to support the lawmakers for better lawmaking. And it is on that positive note that we end this episode of House Tickets. Keep watching House Ticket on NTA Parliament as we bring you reports of activities from the Green Wing of the National Assembly. I am Dihelia Mamza. Bye for now.